yesterday and I saw whales. It was very exciting. And then I realized it was like a whole pond of whales. Was it just one? Was it just whale? And then I thought of belladonna. So I felt like they had a pod. I thought kind of belladonna pod and the belladonna house. So I'm gonna, and I'm actually gonna read a piece that I wrote for a recent belladonna reading, in which Cara shows up in it too. I'm just gonna read excerpts. It's two sections. Although there's I'm hoping to get to be 3 other sections that have not yet been written. But from the 2 sections that have been written, I'm going to read from about, I don't know, a couple of pages in. It's written in iambic couplets, and it's a description. The part that I'm skipping is an attempt to kind of describe deep water drilling in iambic pentameter. A sort of party trick. And I'm going to read I'm going to read the explosion. And then I'm going to read this other section that's written in prose, and I'm going to read 3 paragraphs, and then I think the last paragraph from it. So that'll be it. So this is the couplet part. It is almost at 10 o'clock when mud then shoots up through the derrick. It is almost at 10 o'clock, diverter shut so that the gas and drilling fluid could be routed. To the baffled plates, the poor boy degassed, then the lower annual prep enter is activated, the drill press. The volumes of gases, fluids, drill, in mud, seawater, then is steadily increasing. And it begins again, or begins some more, first as mud, that roaring rain, then the gases that discharged, hissing, the poor boy the gasser fill, Next the first gas alarm, then the others, and it was almost close to 10 o'clock still when next a roaring noise, a vibration. Engines begin rapid increase, as also the drill pressure rapidly increasing as the rig then loses power. Shutdown processes then fail. First explosion on 5 seconds after, then explosion again 10 seconds later. It was not yet 10 o'clock when the Mayday call was first made. The deep water horizon gutted stem to stern. What happens next ends with 11 dead, the rig tethered still to the deep well, the shrapnel, the light bulbs and popping, the hot fireballs, the lifeboats, smoke-filled ovens. Some lifeboats left, not yet full. Those left behind then jumped into oil-covered still water and so swam away. Some died. Jason Anderson, Bubba Burkeen, Shane M. Rosto, Donald Clark, Wyatt Kent, Carl, Dale Kleppinger, Gordon Lewis Jones, Keith Blair Manuel, Dewey Rivette, Adam Weiss, Stephen Ray Curtis. I will not tell you their lives, their loves, their young children, their relationship to oil, our oil. The well exploded, then they died, some swam away, some floated away in boats, Donald Bedreen, Kurt Kucha, Jimmy Wayne Harrell. I did not die. I watched it then burn on a flat screen. Anthony Brian Hayward, Stephen L. Newman, David Lacer watched, and Susan Birnbaum too watching. And this is from the prose section. A couple of paragraphs in also. I start writing in iambic pentameter. It is a loose iambic pentameter. Meter is old but new to me. Because Cara emails me and asks me this: how can we as poets take care of ourselves, our creative work, and the larger planetary body on which we depend? She says, to call attention to the material life of the artist as person who, in addition to being creator, co-conspirator to a body of work, possesses a physical body and real financial, medical, and social needs. I have just finished a collaboration with a friend, and I want to get his tongue out of my hand, and so I fill my hand with tradition. My collaborator has said to me several times as we were working together that we don't need yet another BP poem. The Brent crude oil spot price was 107.8 when we began the collaboration, 112.5 when we ended it. Around the time I start writing in iambic pentameter, I begin to wear several shirts, a Spanx, the sort that covers the belly but not the breast, silk long johns, hiking boots, jeans, and a marmot out on Saturday nights. I have a joke with a friend about the marmot, a sort of "are you wearing your marmot tonight" joke. This is a joke about being a middle-aged body, one whose real medical and financial needs are somewhat met, about to go out and meet some social needs, be with other bodies, bodies whose real medical and financial needs are met variably. Some more or less doing okay, and some doing not okay at all. Sometimes on these Saturday nights, I am part of a group of 50, sometimes of 100. The first time it is a winter dark night, and the light has that yellowish tinge that cell phone cameras are just now beginning to capture. I hear a child chanting as I walk across the plaza, his voice high, floating out over the empty space before I see his body, before I see and hear the other bodies. The child's voice is unwavering, strong, and yet eerie as it spills out, amplified. Hey, hey, ho, ho, he says, in a high 5-year-old voice. Fucking police have got to go, a crowd answers. This goes on for some time and then morphs into fuck the police, fuck the police, fuck the police. The child, because he has the megaphone, the loudest. The child saying fuck. The child seems to be, as best as I can figure out, the child of travelers. They are camping around, often at or near the plaza. I worry the child. My body is unremarkable, not at all singular, as I walk up to join these other bodies, and it remains unremarkable, not at all singular, as it walks with others, takes off into the street when others do, usually after someone yells block up into a megaphone. Then we walk together and yet unevenly out to the street, darkly clad because the Facebook invitation said to wear black. In small groups, some faster, some slower, some holding hands, some on bikes, some with canes, sometimes someone in a wheelchair. There's always a megaphone at the front, and then a second later, someone usually on a bike off to the side, blocking traffic until we cross the intersection. This person calm, smiling. I am never out in front. I tend to lag a few minutes before taking off. I have a tendency to anxiously slow down. I also stay to the side to avoid the middle. I am anxious. I want to keep saying this. I am an anxious body. Shortly after we step out into the street, the white vans, which have been idly waiting nearby, pull out and the motorcycles drive up from behind, engines then and bright directed lights. We are in awkward formation, ununited but together. A few carry signs, some are masked, some wear a red cross of duct tape. We walk or limp down the street at an awkward pace. The megaphone often tells us to block up, to hurry up, to stay together. Stragglers get snatched. Stay together so you don't get snatched. Sometimes we scream back, slow down, slow down. There are people at the back. The vans drive slowly behind us. Sometimes there are 8 vans, sometimes 3, sometimes the vans are full, sometimes not. The minute we stop, those in the van scramble awkwardly out of them and stand there bulked up, sometimes swinging their clubs in their hands. They have on exoskeletons. They wear their face shields, and half their face shields are down and half are up. They have video cameras dangling around their necks attached to their chests. Some are on, some are off. They carry gas masks at their waist, zip ties dangling near their butts. If things are going to tradition, there's a zone of about 3 or 4 yards between these two groups. Some get out in the space, usually men, and they strut back and forth screaming things like Oakland to Greece, fuck the police, or from Oakland to New York City, fuck police brutality, or hey, hey, ho, ho, stop and frisk, has got to go, or I smell bacon, I see pork, run little piggy, I got me fork. Sometimes someone, almost always the same person as last time, burns a flag again. Then the megaphone shouts, block up, and we do. I'm skipping. There are so many variables in deep water drilling. The semi-submersible that hovers over the metal casing is kept in place by the constant modulations and adjustments of many position reference sensors, combined with wind sensors, motion sensors, and gyro compasses. These sensors constantly calculate the wind and current drag of the vessel, and they control the propellers and thrusters. They give the semi-submersible the illusion of being steady, the amount of steady necessary to tether the casing that extends thousands of feet to the floor of the ocean, and then beyond that, into the floor. The cements that line the casing require low viscosities and rapid gel strength development. They must develop compressive strength rapidly at the low temperatures found on the floor of deep oceans. It is this that ensures confident squeeze or no squeeze decisions. The cement is an art, it is said. No one will release their formulas. Same thing with the drilling mud that is inside the casing. It is a mud that keeps the oil and gas in the casing, releasing it with control. It is full of water, clays, and other chemicals such as bentonite and potassium formate. Sometimes diesel fuel replaces the water. It is also said to be an art to be owned. Around the time I start writing an iambic pentameter, someone said the last thing we need is another BP poem. Someone said just another nature poem. Someone said stupid white girls writing about Africa. Someone said they're not stuff like that. Not to me necessarily. At other moments to me, but that doesn't matter. It was in the air. The Brent crude oil spot price was 117.18.